People can only advise from their own perception or knowledge, and these are way below me. Yeah. Hello there, and welcome back to Dee's Health Diaries. My name is Dee, and I am a certified diet coach. Today I'm going to be reacting to a very wild wellness post that I saw online, and I'm going to post it here so that you can follow along. But if you're not following along or you cannot see the screen, I'm also going to read the actual post. So without much further ado, let's get into it because there is so much to unpack here. The post reads, "Excuse me, can I tell you something? I will anyway, and probably I'll get all of you against me." Context, this is in a wellness group that I saw this in, and so that's why she's thinking that people will be against her. The group is about hypothyroidism, and it's where people go to talk about things that they've seen that can help them. So she's a bit defensive from the start. So let's get into what she says that she thinks that we're going to be so against. You all talk so much about gluten-free, but for 97% of the people, it's not about the gluten. In fact, most of you, not all, will with time end up with even worse symptoms. It might help you to go gluten-free, but 90% of you will feel worse later. I tried to say this in a few comments. All of you ignored me. Context, I did not even see her post, but okay. She continues, if you want a clean diet and healing, 1. Stay away from vegetables growing under the earth. The stomach has trouble to digest it. Also, cauliflower is hard for the body to digest. Number 2, stay away from sugar and carbohydrates. The worst carbs are rice, potatoes, pasta, and anything with beans, lentils, and flour. And stay away from fruits. Carrots, corn contains a lot of sugar. If you need something sweet, make a smoothie with unsweetened almond milk, 50 grams of raspberry, 50 grams of strawberry, and 50 grams of blueberry. A lot of antioxidants. Number 3, processed foods, drinks, and healthcare. And in brackets, sunscreen, soaps, shampoos, lotions, with an exclamation mark. I don't know what she meant by that, but she continues. This is a very good start. And before you judge, please look into goitrogens. Look into anti-grain substances, now called anti-nutrients, and has very little to do with gluten in the long run, and why you should stay away from FEX milk after the age of 5 to 6. Just trying to help you because you don't know about these. And she continues, with this in mind, in your everyday eating or drinking, you will lose weight. There are other benefits as well. So now I probably hanged myself with this post and saying there are so many bad helps, tips, ideas here. Again, 3% of you will find gluten-free helps you in the long run. Only about 3% of you. And you're lucky with your DNA. But your child or grandchild will get to a point where your advice doesn't help at all. What then? It's a hard road to go away from everything you thought was good, how you're brought up. If you dive into these 3 things and want help, I might help you. I will go out of this group in a couple of days just because of the terrible advice here. People can only advise from their own perception or knowledge, and these are way below me. Yeah. Sorry, but that's the truth. Wish all of you a prosperous future. So I'm not really going to get into the grammatical errors because that will be petty. So I'm just going to go and break down the whole post, and I'll be kind. I'll start with the strengths of the post because it's not all bad. So let's see. She clearly feels very strongly when it comes to food, and that's based on her personal experiences. You can see that she's motivated to help others, and she's speaking from her lived experiences. So that's nice because there is personal conviction there. And I also like that she's mentioned things like goitrogens, anti-nutrients, and the risks that come with processed food, because those are very real areas of nutritional research, and they are areas that have been subject to a lot of debate. So it's nice to see when someone talks about them. Another point is that she really talks about whole food awareness. I believe that we should all be working towards moving more towards whole foods, because processed foods do come with a lot of risks, including the fact that they dull our hunger and fullness cues. So anything that can help us move towards feeling fuller for longer, that's great. But now let's get into the problematic claims and the logical gaps in her arguments. And these are many, as you may have seen. The first one is the overgeneralization of gluten-free diets. According to her, only 3% of you will benefit from going gluten-free in the long run. But first of all, this claim that 97% of people will get worse in the long run, it's unsupported and it's alarmist, because very many people benefit from going gluten-free, including the ones that don't even have celiac disease. Because when you take gluten out of your diet as part of a whole unprocessed food emphasis diet or something like that, you end up eating healthier foods that are more nutritious. So many people will feel like they lost weight. They might think it's because they went gluten-free, but it's mostly because when you eliminate gluten, you kind of find yourself gravitating towards more nutritious foods, and that's a good thing. And then the reality is that gluten-free diets are essential for people who have celiac disease, but it's not just them. There are also people who are sensitive to gluten, even if they don't have celiac disease. The sensitivities might not show up in a food test, but when they eliminate gluten from their diet, they find that they feel better. And this is the case for many people with Hashimoto's. That's why many people with Hashimoto's are told to go gluten-free, even if they may not have celiac disease. The whole don't go gluten-free because you will not benefit, it's just out there. It's not supported by any actual data, and it's just a way to make people feel like they really need to start fearing foods more. It's as if we don't have enough food fear in the world right now. Let's move on to the second one. She demonizes entire food groups. Instead of saying this food or that food, she's like, stay away from vegetables growing under the earth. Cauliflower is hard to digest. Stay away from fruits. Stay away from carrots. Stay away from corn. So let's look at the reality. Root vegetables are very nutrient dense, and they provide us with fiber, they provide us with vitamins, they provide us with antioxidants. And yes, I understand that some people may be sensitive to these foods because they have IBS, and they may have also FODMAP sensitivities that make it very hard for them to digest these foods. That said, these foods are not universally harmful. Many people can eat these foods without experiencing those adverse side effects. At the same time, she says that cauliflower can cause bloating in sensitive individuals. Okay, that's true, but for many people it's beneficial, and many people will not experience these side effects. It gets even worse when she talks about fruits. Now here's the funny thing. She says, avoid all fruits. Then she continues to say, but if you want something to drink, I have a smoothie for you, and this smoothie has berries. So does she want us to avoid the fruits, or does she want us to only eat the fruits in the smoothies? Are we supposed to avoid all fruits? And in that case, are berries not fruits? It's just very confusing, because in truth, fruits are very good for us. Let's take berries for example from her smoothie. These are low in sugar, they're very high in antioxidants, so they are very good for us. Take bananas. Some people might say that they give them blood sugar crashes, but for many people, they improve their digestion. You take papayas, they are really great for gut health. And yes, some people may be sensitive to them, but it's not everyone. We all have to look at those nuances. Someone might react to something that you might never react to. And that doesn't mean that the food is bad or that the food is good. It just means that there are nuances that we have to consider. Let's move on to the third one. Mischaracterizing carbohydrates. According to her, stay away from sugar and carbohydrates. And she continues to list rice, potatoes, pasta, beans, lentils, flour, and the list goes on. And in truth, yeah, carbs are not created equal. We have everything from the ultra-processed foods all the way to the minimally processed foods. We have whole grains and legumes and starchy vegetables, which are really good as part of a balanced diet. And then we have things like Pringles or any other ultra processed food that comes into your brain, into your mind right now. Yes, there are differences. They affect our energy differently, they affect our metabolism, our satiety, very many aspects of our bodies in very different ways. But that doesn't mean that carbs are evil. It just means that you have to consider what the carbs are going to do for your body, and in that case you have to choose the carbs that support your health goals. Let's move on to the fourth one. She says look into goitrogens and anti-nutritions. So let's look at, okay, I think when she says anti-nutritions, what she means is anti-nutrients like phytates and lectins. And goitrogens, these are very, very demonized when it comes to hypothyroidism, because they tell you that if you take foods that are high in goitrogens, it might affect your thyroid activity, and many people are told to stay away from cabbage, from broccoli. I also once thought I needed to do that, but it turns out that the goitrogens only affect you when they're in very large amounts, and if you have a specific deficiency, like people with iodine deficiencies might be affected more by the goitrogens. But if you're not eating high amounts and if you don't have these deficiencies, you might never even feel the difference. Another thing, we also have to add some context here, because when you talk about the goitrogens, yes, you're having them in large amounts and you're also having them raw. So if you process them, if you cook them, you ferment them, you soak them, then you reduce the amount of goitrogens that are in this food. And really, how many cups of cabbage or broccoli are you truly having for your body to react that much to it? For many people, you find that these compounds are actually protective, and you don't even have to worry about that. They can be part of a healthy diet even if you have thyroid issues. Now let's go to number 5. I did not really get this one, because she says stay away from processed healthcare, sunscreen, soaps, shampoos. Okay, to some extent, right? The truth is that personal care items have often been linked to much of the toxicity that we deal with on a daily basis, and you're often told to green your home, like go for natural shampoos, natural skincare products, maybe even skip the deodorant and use lemon juice. There is so much out there. But the thing is, personal care products are not the same, and some may contain questionable ingredients like parabens. We know that's not good for us, but like putting all of them under one blanket statement that everything that's processed healthcare is bad for you, that's also alarmist. It's just as bad as saying stay away from all carbs. We have to have nuance. We have to understand, okay, we need to avoid these ingredients in our personal care products, but it's not that we have to avoid all personal care products. We do need them. We need sunscreen, because as much as we want vitamin D, we don't want to expose our skin to too much sunlight, to too many harmful UV rays. We have to think about that. And finally, I have to talk about her tone and her delivery. First of all, she's very confrontational and dismissive, because she says, yeah, I know that this is way below me. I know that when I say this, you're going to kick me out of the group. I'm leaving this group anyway in a few days. I can help you, but you also have to be willing to understand that, you're really like way below me. I know what I'm saying and you don't. Many of you don't. A lot of you ignored me when I posted this. There's just that air around her. So when she says things that you guys have terrible advice, you're way below me, it just makes other people feel, I am going to speak for myself. It makes me feel like not engaging. I actually did not engage with the post because I felt like it was so dismissive. And if you want to engage with people, you have to be more open and collaborative in the way that you present your arguments. We don't all know everything. Even in this case, when I post this video, there is someone who might listen to what I'm saying and say that actually you're wrong here, or I don't agree with you here, and that's okay. We share opinions, and then we have a discussion, and then we decide what's the best way forward. Sometimes we have to agree to disagree, but you also have to be very open. If you come at people and you're like, you're below me, you're way below me, that's very dismissive. It's just like, you guys. So yeah, so I will say as a whole, this post raises some very interesting points, because these are things that you see on a daily basis. People saying, okay, I have to go low carb because like carbs are bad. But are they? No, it really depends on your goals, and it also depends on the type of carb that you're taking. So I like the fact that she talked about things like gluten sensitivity and processed foods and anti-nutrients and so much that has been up for debate in the past few years. So I really enjoyed reading this and also reacting to it, and I've even created some reels about it because I couldn't believe what I was reading. And this will be part of a longer series where I'll be looking for hosts whose wellness advice I don't agree with or I don't even understand, and then I'll be reacting to them. So if you really enjoyed this, just stick around because this is going to become a thing on this channel. That said, if you're feeling confused by everything that you see out there, if you need more clarity in your wellness journey, I am a certified diet coach and I run a program called Better in 90, and that's just about sustainable and small and practical ways that you can change your life and feel better in 90 days. We're not demonizing anything. We're not saying that you have to stay away from these or that this won't work for you. There are no blanket statements because we are all individuals and our health journeys are very highly individual. If that seems interesting to you, follow the link down in the description, and I look forward to engaging with you and hearing from you. And I would also like to read your comments and hear what you thought about this because this was one of the most interesting posts I've read. And if you've also seen something this interesting, yes, be sure to link it. I'm going to link my Instagram down below, and you can send me DMs with anything that you see weird out there, whether it's a video, whether it's a post. I would like to react to it or love to read it, and I'd love to hear what you guys thought about this. This has been really fun. Until next time, bye bye.